Hello, my name is Josh Oakes with smartsocial.com, and today we're talking about password safety, password behaviors, password best practices, and essentially making sure that others cannot get into your accounts so that you are the safest. Whether you have kids or whether you work at a company that gives you access to a lot of different things, we all seem to have passwords these days that give us access to everything we do, whether it's in the cloud or whether it's your thumbprint opening this device. We need to make sure that we're secure. I have an absolute expert here today with me. I'm privileged to have Dennis Bonilla. He's executive dean at the School of Business of College of Information Systems and Technology, the College of Criminal Justice, 3 different colleges, and they're all in the University of Phoenix. He wears a lot of hats, has a lot of employees, and has a lot of experience, and is a pretty awesome guy. Today, we've got him here talking to us about the 3 tips you can use, and I'm going to try and get a 4th tip out of him as well. Dennis, welcome to the video.
Welcome. How you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having us. Give us, you've got a tip that essentially people need to learn more about keeping themselves safe. It's a little bit about 2-factor authentication. Talk to us about what is that, and then why should we turn it on?
Sure. So 2-factor authentication forces you to have 2 ways of actually entering into a login or a website. So typically you'll come in and you'll get your login for your bank account and you'll put in your information, whatever, and it will send either a text message to your phone with the code, or will send an email with the code, and now it'll have a little space for you to enter that code. So it actually ensures that those devices or those phone numbers that you've given them that actually authenticates who you are, you're ensuring that that message is going to the right person and that you are now the one who is actually authenticating so that that access is being given to the right person, and you're minimizing the opportunity for any sort of identity theft or fraud.
Yeah, I love that idea. And I think that today's goal, as you said so wisely before we started, is it's really just reducing the chances of someone getting in. Just by adding one of these tips, those of you that are listening on the podcast, watching on video, or you're on YouTube or Facebook, we're really all about reducing the chances that the bad guys can get in, or a robot or a bot. There's all kinds of things out there. So 2-factor authentication, many services have it. Facebook, especially Gmail. We require all 2-factor authentication on anything Gmail because of our work. Next, talk to us about a password manager. What does it do, and why do you use one?
Sure. So imagine all the online accounts that you have access to. There's your work email, there's your private email, there's your bank account, there's your investment account, there's your Amazon account. All these different systems that require you to have a password, and the last thing you want to do is have the same password in every one of those accounts. So what do? You make the complexity of having to keep track of all these different passwords. In the past, I would write them down and put them on a piece of paper, fold it, put it into my my briefcase, and then when I needed to know, I looked it up. Well, now you have these systems that are password managers that will sort of lock in all these passwords into one location. You authenticate into that one location, and that one location will now authenticate you into the system of choice that you've logged into. So you don't have to try to remember all these great passwords that you've selected because it's confusing. You forgot, hey, I use this one on this bank account, but I use this one at work. So these password managers make it very simple for you to maintain integrity and sophistication with your passwords, but not having to remember where these at or remember where you wrote them down or where you put them and you hit them and now you can't find them.
I love that. My dad has a sheet of paper and he has all of his passwords and he goes, oh, I forgot that one. And he'll go look at it. Right. And the same thing. And you use OnePass, the password manager. Is that correct?
Yes.
So
there are many other, there are many other password managers out there. I mean, many of them are there because, they'll authenticate you. And then, if you find the breach, they'll also, notify you of these breaches, et cetera, et cetera. So it's monitoring your whole online activity so you can feel a little bit safer. I mean, I still keep, honestly, I still keep a written one that I keep locked up so that if something happens to me, my wife can have access to those numbers and she knows how to get to them, and I keep those updated. But otherwise, I like to use the online system. That password manager makes your life very simple, because one of the things that, that forces people to be hacked is we get lazy. I know here at work, every 90 days, we have to update to a new password. So then it tells you can't use the old password you used the last 10 times. So all of a sudden you're trying to create all these complexity passwords. You can't keep track of all that stuff.
It's so annoying.
Password manager helps you out.
Yeah, that's great. And those of you that are listening, there's 1Pass, which Dennis uses. I use Dashlane. We're going to try and link to those below. The person that's taking notes of this is going to put both of those links in there or to their website. And then also one of the coolest features that Dennis didn't mention is that it's also on your phone. Dennis, do you use the phone feature?
I do.
There's an app. So this is what's really neat. Sorry to geek out for you for a sec, but if you're wondering, I need to get into that extra Instagram account, right? We manage a few Instagram accounts, whether it's for my brand or our company or, all the different things. We have all those passwords saved. It's super easy. It goes with you. You put that one long password in to let it know it is you. And in fact, on your mobile device, you don't even use a password anymore. You just put your thumb on it. And your thumb is the master password.
Yeah, some of the newer systems that's facial ID now were introduced with the iPhone 10 and others. Those are still, getting a couple of hiccups worked out where those systems have had some, false, entries by using masks and other photographs and things. So they haven't figured out all the perks on those, but the two-factor authentication, these password managers are awesome.
That is awesome. Yeah. So LastPass, 1Pass, and then also Dashlane, all things to look at. You are safer by using either one of them. Now, talk to us about what a good password is. A password manager is going to suggest this, but what do you suggest on a good password?
Well, because, again, it goes back to laziness. We tend to sort of use things that are common in our life. Our dog's name, our birthdays, my wife's name, our first kid's name, et cetera, et cetera. Those are horrible passwords. Those password hackers have all these algorithms set up, and they monitor all your social activities, right? So they know if you posted this picture on your birthday, now they know your birthday. So they can enter all these kinds of algorithms that are constantly trying to hack you. So the reality is you want to have a password that is very non-sequential, has a lot of numbers, a lot of characters, special characters embedded in there, at least maybe 8 to 10 characters long. Something that maybe is a phrase or something that people wouldn't be able to think about. Like, you and I both know a lot about aviation. So using aviation one as a password would probably be a big mistake because they could find on our Facebook or our Instagram, our profile that we're pilots, right? So you have to keep it sort of innocuous, something that really is almost irrelevant to what your life is, and keep that as a complex password. Enter that into your password manager and keep that going. But it has to be of a certain length with certain characters, special characters. Make it very difficult for somebody to figure this out through all these automated algorithms that are hacking you.
Yeah, and sometimes we're not fighting the bad guy or woman. It's an algorithm. It's a bot that's listening to everything we're saying. A lot of people say, and I've heard this before, people that have a WordPress site, we're always telling them, hey, if you're a blogger, be secure, do this. Oh, but I don't have that many viewers. They would never want to break into my stuff. And remember, there are hidden things that people can get out of your WordPress blog or anything else that's insecure, because they actually just need one visitor that they can put ransomware on, and then they can demand $2,500. So you do have more value than you ever might know, and that's why you need to protect yourself. All right, Dennis, talk to us. Give us what's one of the things that people always say, well, I heard that I need to do this, or maybe one of the misconceptions about security that you'd love to set straight.
Well, I think people think that, I'm on online shopping and I've got my firewall and I've got this protected, but I haven't done the latest security update to my firewall or to my system. So, all the Windows OS and Microsoft, everybody's sending out updates periodically, and people, either through laziness or because they don't want to restart their computer, reboot their computer, they don't accept the security patch or the security update. Mm-hmm. So these hackers are constantly updating every day these protocols, these algorithms, these hacking systems. So if you're not patching your software with the latest security updates, even if it's a day late or 2 days late, you're going to be vulnerable. Somebody's going to be able to get in if they want and drive through this ransomware or some other, heinous methodology to try to get to your identity or compromise your identity.
That's a great tip. So we've talked, in fact, I'm rebooting my computer after this podcast because it's trying to get me to reboot because of that exact same thing. Right. So you've taught us 3 or 4 things. 1, utilize two-factor authentication. And some of you that are a little bit more tech savvy know that Google Authenticator has one of those. You've also got Authy, A-U-T-H-Y, and then also text messaging, which is terrific. The use of password managers, that's terrific, and it's really going to help you set stronger passwords. You'll have one master password. And you also just taught us that the selection of a password is important. 8 to 10 characters. Make it irrelevant to your life. Yes. Don't include your dog or your dad's name or your mom's name or or your favorite hobby that everybody knows that you're doing, right?
Right.
I'm going to give you last call, last word. What do you have to say to everybody that's listening?
Don't be lazy. It's easy to not change and update and keep current. Don't be lazy. It's going to cost you in the end.
That's very wise. Those of you that are watching and listening, thank you so much. You can learn more at smartsocial.com, where we have a program called Parent University. So if your kids aren't listening to you, or you're always tired of being the bad parent, right? Dennis has a couple daughters and they're outstanding young people, but it's never easy. It's always an uphill battle. We have 3-minute videos that you watch with your kids to teach them the what, why, where, and how, so that you're not just telling them, hey, everything you put out there is permanent. We show them, we become the bad person, and we train your kids how to think like little adults, to make wise decisions, so that someday when they're 14 to 18 years old, you can work with them to shine online. We also have a free tool called Footprint Friday that's involved in Parent University that teaches you how to monitor the footprint of your kids. Guys, I hope you'll sign up. It's a free 7-day trial to test it out. We're here to protect you. We want to thank Dennis for helping us do that. Dennis, thanks for coming out.
Thanks, Josh. I love being on your show. Thanks a lot. Everybody out there, don't be lazy with your passwords.
Don't be lazy. We'll see all of you guys on the next episode. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.